Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Dream Audience presentation. I freaking love this Dream Audience presentation. This is one that sits on my heart, just like with Passions, because this is one that I think so many people solely miss and do not get specific enough in. So I'm going to use myself first as an example of some sort. So, when you are on Instagram right now and you're constantly hearing all the time about message refinement. Oh my word. Oh, just refine your messaging. Just refine your messaging. Just get more specific. Just do that. Just do whatever. And it'll all fall into place. And if only it was that easy, but it's not. Instead, I want to kind of remind you guys, especially in this presentation, that I cannot refine my messaging or refine my offer suite until I first refined my dream audience. Okay, let me preface. Your dream audience will require refinement as you go through different seasons of life. It will require refinement based on what you're selling. It will require refinement based on what you are the goal you're trying to see on, the way your passions are, the goal or your verb of what you're trying to create on Instagram or Facebook, whatever you're using. So whatever my verb is according to my passion, there should also be my dream audience. If my verb or my passion changes, I need to refine my audience first, re-go through my solution, who they are. I need to re-go through all of that, and then my messaging will automatically refine based to that audience. Now, the number one thing people do a little differently when they're talking about their dream audience, or I don't think they do enough in, is this refinement. Because our dream audience, and in order to make content fun, in order to make social media fun, in order to make it flow, I need to get really good at mastering my dream audience refinement, really good at speaking to them. And the only way to do that is first getting specific in who they are. Okay, I cannot refine a messaging of some sort or refine who I'm speaking to unless I first refine the who. You know what I mean? And that's where content can become iffy. And that's where a lot of people say, oh, my messaging isn't clicking. But I always challenge them to go back and refine their audience. Because number one of the main reasons that your messaging is not clicking or you're not getting across something is because you haven't refined who you're speaking to in the first place. So I'll use myself as an example. Who I was speaking to 9, 10 months ago when I started. Actually, 11 now because November is when I started this. Who I'm speaking to 11 months ago is different than who I'm speaking to now. When I started 11 months ago, I did the same thing that everyone else did. I said that my number one thing is to help people build businesses online because I stepped into MRR. So, because of that, I stepped into the fishbowl and the box, right? So, when I stepped into MRR, that was my audience of the people that I wanted to speak to was helping people create money online. That's what I thought I wanted to do. That was what I thought I needed to do in order to make money. That's the difference. I thought I needed to have that audience to make money. And then eventually, as I went into telling my story, because I said that when I come online and I come on social media, finally, I am going to use my platform as a journal. I need to build my audience first. If you have SFBI or have learned from us in the beginning, I can't sell to thin air. I have to sell to a community that are there for me and want to see me as a solution and me as the authority. So, in order to do that, oh, geez, wait, this way. Oh, man. I need to create an audience first. So, because of that, I said, I'm going to come on here and just tell my story. I'm going to use this as a journal. I'm going to use this page as a, you know what? Go fuck you to other people that told me I needed to do things conventionally. Society told me I needed to go get this degree. I needed to finish my license, blah, blah, blah. This was my way of saying, you know what? F everyone who said that I needed to do that because I'm going to create something for myself. So then my dream audience became the women who said or who once told that their opinion was not validated, that they needed to do something burst to society's standards. Society or family or relationship said you needed to go down this path in order to see success. I redefined success and challenged other people to redefine success using their own voice and their own personal experiences. And so that was who my audience was at the start. And then my audience shifted into what I was selling. So I was selling mentorship, I was selling coaching, and I was selling to other business coaches who wanted to teach other people to use their story, who wanted to teach other people to explore their passions, who blah, blah, blah. So that was my next dream audience. And that's where we created our coaching twintorship, our container for together, was to teach other people to coach other people, not just using MRR, but using the tools and the genius that they have. So my audience became really everyone. And then after that, my audience then shifted back because I started to have to pull away from this brand that I once had. But it was still mine. So I did it all on my page. Instead, I needed to refine again who my audience was. So this was in a different page, a different season of life where now I'm creating offers for myself, like my Telegram experience. Okay, not just with Barrett. So my audiences are two different. I have an audience is my too much audience, I call them. The people that were once told they were too much, they were loud, they're boisterous, they're a lot, their personality is extra. So instead, they spent the rest of their life with anxiety and confusion, studying visual cues. Oh, that person said I was too loud, so I should be quiet. They stopped talking when it came into a room. They stopped speaking over people. They stopped interrupting because that was their way of getting the attention they did not have. They stopped doing all those things. Instead, they stopped voicing their opinion anyway. I was that person that vocally voiced their opinion everywhere. Instead, I stopped doing that because other people made fun of it. They judged it. They said I was too loud. They said I was too aggressive. They said I was too intimidating. So, because of that, that became my audience. The people that were once told that, and they're tired of lessening themselves and shrinking themselves and not doing something that they actually want and freely expressing who they are, whether that is them being loud. So that's my one audience. My second audience is the audience that I speak to of the scarcity mindset or the poverty mindset. That's my anxiety audience. My audience that does so many things, gets multiple jobs, feels like they can't reach below a certain level of money. Success is contributed to the end result, not the journey. And so, because of that, they're going to buy multiple products. They're going to quit something and start again, then come back to it, but it's not going to be something they like. So, they're going to keep going, blah, 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 blah. And then it becomes out of a lack of control. You can't give away control. And because of that, you burn out. So I have two different audiences. I've been both. I speak to both at different times. For example, my too much experience, the I'm too much Telegram experience, that speaks to my too much crowd. It does not speak to my scarcity crowd. And if I try to speak to both, it's going to equate in no sales and it's going to confuse everybody. I need to speak solely to my too much crowd. And then I'll create a different offer based on my scarcity crowd. Both can speak to my coaching offer. But if I'm going to make an offer that is specificity or that specialized to my scarcity crowd, it's going to be all about rushing and anxiety and not being able to give control away. It's not going to be to my too much crowd that lessens themselves and doesn't freely express themselves well. Do you know what I mean? So you can have two different crowds. Instead, together, the dream audience is really all about not being worthy and insecurity and trying to crave attention or that they're not doing enough or they need more, but they don't know how to express it. So they're two different specialized things, but they're all under one insecurity cloud. Okay. So I can speak to the insecurity cloud when I'm doing my coaching container. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm challenging you guys to do is to refine your dream audiences so that my messaging will refine automatically and my content will refine automatically. And then I can work to create scalable offers based on my different audiences. Do you know what I mean? So I think that is the best part here. So let's walk through the presentation together. First, we start with you. You are the solution automatically. So when you speak to people being stuck and your audience, where are they stuck? You need to speak to where you once felt stuck. So that brings me back to my desires. It brings me back to what I value in life. My values are what represent who I am. They represent what I believe in. They lead to what we're going to eventually prioritize. If I value what do I value? No, just kidding. If I value not giving my children vaccines, I'm not going to make people more aware of all the vaccines that the government wants us to do and oh, I'm just going to sell an MR course on vaccines. Why? If I really don't like selling that. Or if we really don't agree with it. So my values represent who I am and what I'm going to eventually prioritize. If my verb of passion is education and coaching, I'm not going to create or sell an offer that just like makes people aware, because then instead I'm going to give all of my education and coaching experience away for free. And that's where then again experience burnout. So, our desires, they become, and our values, they become what we prioritize. So we got to start here with like researching us. We need to make sure that our dream student aligns with us. And the way we do that is we think back to our own personable experiences, or our own our pivotal experiences, a turning point, a butterfly effect that TikTok then says, because that'll help with our messaging. We are the solution for our dream client. So our dream client needs to be us, a solution that we once needed in our life. We found it by doing what? We hit a turning point that made us realize this. Our solution is going to be the same for other people. I can't just go think of a person out there and say, oh my word, they need this solution, and I'm going to just offer them my education tool of MRR. Why? A lot of people who are in MRR, they fall into the trap of only voicing MRR as the tool to, or as the key to success, or as the key to building a business, or as the key to change. Instead, we need to create ourselves as that first. Okay? Our objections, what's holding us back, our transformation is what's going to help us create ourselves as the solution and sell more of us. Okay? So, we are the go to source. We're the solution for our dream client. Why? What makes us that? Okay. Is it how I speak? Is it how I show up? Is it my energy? Is it because I'm damn good at talking about this one topic? Based on the passions that and purpose that we identified in the last module, in the last lesson, excuse me, we form our experiences to now form a mission statement. And that mission statement is what's going to attract people to us. Okay. We got to be specific here, because our attraction and what leads to attraction is how much we speak to that. Negative energy is going to lead to negative energy. And people that you want to work with, your dream client, they say, is the person that you feel you embodied most helping. So, for instance, I have a best friend in my coaching container. We became friends literally through Instagram. And her, like who she is the person that I so badly love to help. The ones that I don't have to convince of their worth. The ones I don't have to convince of their of confidence. The one I don't have to convince of buying from me. The one who knows their worth, who knows what they value, who knows their genius. They just need a little push to get to where they want to go. They feel stuck, they feel like they're not doing enough, and then sometimes they're doing too much, and they feel like they might not be enough for their audience member, but they know that they're good at something. They just need a little push. So you can embody who you once helped, a family member, a client, a fellow coworker, even your daughter. You're looking at your daughter and you want to, help her see or allow her to never go through the experience that you did. Why? Okay. We then speak to in our messaging and form our dream student around that one person we want to help, that one person we once embodied to help and offered a solution for. Right? So that's what we need to ask ourselves. Our dream clients are the ones that come easy to us, and they're easy to work with. They're fun to work with. We've helped them once. We got joy from it. It brought us life. It brought our light back because it made us feel alive to help them, not drained. You don't want to work with people that drain you. And so, because of that, you don't want to work with your past self or something like that. Because I don't want to work with my past self, the past insecure, non confident self that didn't even know what she wanted in life or where to go. Instead, she just did what her boyfriend told her to do. I don't want to work with that person. No thanks. So instead, I speak to who I wanted to work with now based on who I am now. So specificity is the most important thing here that we need to learn when forming our audience, because that's entirely what our content embodies. So we speak specifically to them. Like I said in the beginning, I speak specifically to my two different types of audiences, one at a time at different times with different offers. I'm not generic enough to do that. Then my too much people will find me based on that offer, and they'll come to me themselves. My anxiety people, I can't expect them to come to me from that. I got to speak to them at a different point in time. Okay. All this to say is building a relationship to them through your messaging and through your offers, but you first need to refine who they are first, their demographics, what they're stuck in, what they were once told in life, and what they believe now based on that, where they want to go, the feeling that they will receive when they get there versus what they're feeling now. And this is where you then start to build your own credibility because if you aren't, like, for instance, if your dream client is not who you once were or who you are now, it's really hard to build credibility with that. And you'll feel like you're not the one person to help them because they're different and it's fearful. You're like, they're not me. I don't know. Am I really helping them? You'll never feel like that if you're speaking to the one person that you once were or that you are now, who you're embodying now. If I'm speaking to who I'm embodying now, I'm like, yeah, that person is fire. You know what I mean? So instead, I'm going to build my credibility up with them, embrace who I am through them, and they're going to embody that back to me. And then, boom, I have a repeat buyer because they're attached to my success and they're attached to me because they're gaining success from me. And success being the journey, not the end result. Okay. I mean, that was a little bit, and we'll discuss this more in our call, and we'll discuss this in our next call as well. But really work on getting incredibly specific. I mean, even down to gender, age, what they once did in their life versus what they're doing now, because you truly, truly, truly need to turn the dial up on how much you're sharing about your own life. You need to get deep here. It cannot just be help people build businesses online. That's not your mission statement. Okay. And then who's people? You know what I mean? Let's get specific. Let's dive into the weird. All right. Let's do it, guys. Have fun in the workbook.